everybody to Woodwire and Watts. I'm Chris.
I'm Adam.
I'm Topher.
And this week we're talking Christmas and winter holiday shows. We'll have an in-studio guest later on today to talk about all that fun stuff. We'll, of course, be doing our weekly original Riff challenge and more. So how we doing today, guys?
Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, I'm hanging in there.
Glad to hear, Grandpa. I didn't really write down a whole lot of gear news this week, and by didn't write any down, I mean I forgot to. So unless you know of anything,
I thought the one thing I thought would be interesting to talk about was the reverb list of the year.
Oh,
since it is kind of the last. This is the Christmas episode. I actually have part of the list in there.
So
there's a bunch, but
did you hear about this?
I have not.
Okay, so every year Reverb basically takes its data analytics and sends it out to all of their major sellers. So all of the pedal companies, all of the major guitar companies, all that, and they tell you what sold the most. Yes, so you can actually see what people are buying, all that cool stuff.
When you first said this, I thought this was literally a list of best reverbs. I was like,
most popular.
all right,
I guess you could say.
Yeah, no, this is most popular used kind of list.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they kind of had they always have sections for the top selling pedals of the year, top selling new released pedals for that specific year, and then amps and guitars and all that.
You didn't put this on here, so I'm gonna. What do you think was the top selling guitar of the year?
Oh no. Don't tell me it.
Huh?
Don't tell me it.
No.
Okay.
Is it Topher's favorite?
Okay.
It's not Topher's favorite, no.
This
is a legitimate question.
I don't know.
Really? Okay.
What?
Fender Player Telecaster.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. It actually beat out the Stratocaster for the first time in, I forget what they said. They said a while.
Quite a while, yeah.
It's only the Player Series, though, apparently. The Player Series Telecaster is outselling everything else for one. Huh. It's also outselling obviously the Player Series Strat, but if you look at the American-made ones, the American Strat is still outselling the American Tele. Huh. So, interesting.
As long as it's outselling the Acoustasonic or whatever heck it is.
The Acoustasonic.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's right. Acoustasonic Tele, not the Teleacoustic, because that's the terrible old Fender.
No matter what, it's garbage. Sorry. I have feelings.
I still don't think it would be doing that bad, or would be that bad of an instrument, were it not priced as what it is. If it was a Squier Series, $350, $350 guitar, I think every one of us would have it as a backup for when,
That's fair.
Yeah.
But, and also, even if it was, 500, right? It's up there.
Yes, it's $2,000. Oh, well, I don't know if we, mentioned it last episode, but they now have released their Player Series, made in Mexico Acoustasonics, which are still... $1,200.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So, stupid priced. Yeah. But we got the pedals, I think, is what we were really looking at. So,
yeah.
I
was excited by the top few in both lists.
Okay, so we'll start from the bottom, and this one surprises me. So the top 5, number 5 is the Hologram Electronics Microcosm.
Yeah.
And isn't that...
I don't even know what that is. That was the one on the list where I was like...
I thought it was a
what?
synth pedal.
It sounds like one.
I've seen them.
Any idea, Topher?
Nope. I don't know.
So they pop up all the time on Reddit, on the Reddit pedal boards and Instagram pedal boards.
They look fancy.
They're one of those super I have the Strymon, the Strifecta, and then I have
there's a lot of knobs and stuff.
That looks like the controller for a Starship.
There's a lot of that's some Star Wars stuff right there.
Oh, so it's a fancy ass looper.
It seems like
looper.
It seems like there's more words that I want to read.
That is a lot for a looper.
Yeah. There's a lot of words on the chassis of it.
So delay looper. Yeah, granular looper. So in other words, when it's what's the
Oh, FaceTime. You can FaceTime.
What?
Oh, fade Fade time.
Let me hold on. Let me turn the pedal on so I can talk to you from a distance.
What?
Look, gotta go get out my guitar pedal. I'm gonna talk to my grandma
In the middle of the show. Yes. No, what am I thinking? There's a chaseless pedal that's a granular looper. Is it the Mood or is it the... You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
One of them, basically, you start the loop and then it compresses it or it turns it into, like, it breaks down the sound and starts making it sound like a jacked up tape. Yeah. So, like, you can make it sound real crazy. You can reverse the stuff.
It's like a looper, but not for playing, like, doing a chord progression and jamming over it. It's to make weird soundscape kind of stuff.
Correct.
I like the shape, the mod frequency.
This is too complicated for my board.
It seems like a lot.
No. Yeah,
I like weird, complicated pedals,
and I'm sure
that's over.
I'm sure it's super fun.
You're probably right. It probably actually is, but it's not one I would gig with. I don't think.
I mean, if I were to have one, I would enjoy it.
I'm sure you would.
But
Hologram Effects, hit us up.
Yeah.
Prove us wrong.
We'll be happy to test one out.
Yeah. So number 4, this is so weird. The DS1, the Boss DS1.
It's crazy that it just stays in the top 5.
Really?
When it's been out forever.
Yes.
And it...
Well, it's also the cheapest of the Boss pedals. Right? It used to be $25-$30.
Yeah. Is it? Because, like...
It's got to be because it's cheap.
Depending on your scene, like, people will tear it down.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you can get a usable tone out of it.
Yeah.
Certainly.
And most people who do have modded the living crap.
Which, to be fair, like maybe that could be a good reason why it's popular too. Is get it cheap, mod it.
Because the mods are easy. Yeah. Like the one I did for you was literally you open it up, you find the 2 diodes, and you jam a set of pliers in there and pop them out. Like that's it. Number 3, the Hx Stomp. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's still fairly new, and it does lots of stuff, and people don't want to carry amps
a full
and
pedal
else.
board
totally
and an
makes
amp.
sense.
Yeah. That is that big black pedal.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Number 2 is the Ditto Looper.
That makes sense.
And I don't know if this is the Ditto Looper or is this the big one?
The TC. They
have 2.
I think it's just the little. I think
the little one?
Because I think the bigger ones are like the X2 and X4.
Yeah.
I have the X4, and I also I do have one of the small ones.
Okay. Yeah, I've never had one.
It's a good practice tool.
Yeah. I had the Moon Stereo Looper because it was basically the X2, but for the price of the one.
Yeah.
And it was great.
But yeah, it's an affordable pedal. It's I've seen a lot of people with that looper.
Yep.
Whether you perform with them or not, I think having a looper of any kind is just a really good practice tool.
Yeah, I keep one in my bag, but I don't perform with it, but I definitely use it for practice.
Yep. Mine's built in the DD8. That's why I got rid of the Moon, because it's got you get the plus reverb, and then it's got looper when you set it all the way up.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's cool. And then number 1. Your personal favorite.
It's the Kiwi Compressor Plus. That has been the compressor on my board for 3 or 4 years, I think.
Yep, and it's probably the most popular I see these days. Yeah.
Can I see it? Can we?
The Kiwi.
It's it's sometimes they just call it the Kiwi 4-knob compressor.
Yes.
It does the job. It does it really well. It's not super noisy, as compressors tend to be noisy.
I went for the.
I don't know. It's not fancy, but it sounds good, and it's got that little switch for single coil or humbucker, and which you wouldn't think is a big deal, but
it is.
When I plug in an SG versus a Strat, like it totally makes a difference.
It does have the blend,
and the blend that's the part that makes it great. Is the blend, because you don't have to have all compressed tone. You can just put a little bit of it in.
I didn't realize it had the blend knob, which is why I went for the Ego at the time. But I mean, I also am not intending to trade out the Ego, but
that's my second favorite. So it's the only other compressor I still own. I've gone through lots of them, but those are the 2 that I use.
How much does that go for on
100? Oh, you can find it on Reverb for $100 maybe.
Probably, yeah. They've been out for quite a long time.
Yeah.
That's
I see them pop up on the Let's Trade Pedals on Reddit constantly. So we're looking at Kiwi Compressor Plus
pricing. So used from $109.
So you could probably get it for $100 on the spot.
Yeah, to offer to somebody. Yeah.
Now that said, they also now have, and I think this just released this year, is the Kiwi Compressor Mini. Yeah.
I don't know if it has a blend.
It does not have a blend. But for me, these days, like when I bought it, I was looking for a blend knob. Mm-hmm. These days, I don't think I care that much because I don't use a compressor with humbuckers. Mm-hmm. And when I use the telly, I want the country spank sound. Yeah, you know what I mean? So like, I don't care that there's a blend in there.
I like the blend. It's because I definitely sometimes have it all the way up for that, for doing the country kind of thing. But I also like it for like just really sustained like lead tones and stuff.
Yep. Understand. 120. That seems it is a bit pricey.
Seems like a lot for a 2-knob tiny box.
Well, and then you can get the the MXR.
I'm sure it sounds really good though. Yeah. Everything Kiwi makes sounds great.
Absolutely. MXR has the Dyna. Yes. Oh yeah. Kiwi doesn't need to sponsor us. That's the thing. Yeah. Yeah. The Dynacomp Mini I think is probably the competitor to that. And that's 2 knobs. $80. Yeah,
that's the compression sound that probably 90% of people are familiar with. If they hear a compressor on something, because Dynacomp's been around forever.
Yeah, absolutely. So top 5 new.
The new release stuff.
Is that what this is? So the top 5 best-selling new releases. Okay. Oh, and to go with this, because I see Walrus on this list, we also just saw this past week. A lot of these guys are doing their limited runs for the year. Have you seen that? The limited graphics,
they do, unique graphics, and yeah, I did. I saw a few of them for. Was it? I think it was Walrus.
It is Walrus.
They did a bunch of them.
What was it called?
Is it the ones the National Park ones?
Yes. Yeah. Walrus National Park series. And I'll put these up on the screen.
They look super cool. I wouldn't mind. I don't actually own any Walrus effects.
I have had the ARP 87.
I would not mind having their Julia or Juliana, the chorus modulation. It's a really nice sounding one.
Deep 6 compressor National Park effects. So yeah, all their I believe these are one of the pedal companies they're big into the graphic design stuff.
Yeah.
So their entire thing is all based off different national parks for this run. Yeah, they're cool looking.
They're pretty.
Yeah, there's also, I believe, the Slow. They said, and I pulled this off another podcast that I don't remember. The Slow actually has added programmable reverbs in it now for their National Park series.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's not just that they're pretty. There's a couple extra little features. But yeah, jumping back over top 5 new pedals. So number 5, the Way Huge Atreides. I remember this one, but
I would love to try one. It was a super. I've seen they're available out there again now. Because they were a super limited run.
So I don't 100% grasp what this actually is.
I think that I could be wrong, but I think it's in a different layout. It's similar to like the Data Corruptor, where it's like a fuzz / octave / synth.
Oh, there's a lot going on.
No knobs. It's all sliders. It looks like an EQ.
Yeah. It does look like an EQ.
It's they call it an analog weirding module.
Yes, the weirding module.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'd love to try one. I love because weird fuzz synth sounds are some of my favorite.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sure they're gonna be like. I know they've been out for a while. Well, they said new, but like
you can pick them up on Reverb for like
150.
Yeah, I saw a couple that were like 160, 170. I don't know.
Yeah, they said this is supposed
they're new $200, but they are like, I think they've only had a few runs of them.
Oh yeah, Way Huge I think has been having trouble shipping out if I remember right. I could be wrong.
Maybe big surprise there.
Yeah, surprise.
Anybody's trying to ship anything out.
Yeah. Let's see. The number 4, we got the ACS1 by Walrus. Mm-hmm. So that's just your cab IR loader. It's a amp in a box.
Similar to the
Strymon Iridium.
Yeah.
Yeah, except for it's a lot better form factor, I think.
It's smaller, yeah.
Does it sound better? Have you played it?
I've played the Walrus. I don't have one, but I've tried that, and I've tried it next to the Strymon, and differ a little, but very similar pedals. I mean, you can get the same sounds out of both of them. I still have a preference for after having tried them all. I still like the simplifier better.
Yep.
Even though it's not there's no IRs or anything, it's all analog. But
Fullerton. Okay, yeah. So it's Fender, Marshall, Vox,
they just label them differently. Fullerton, London, Dartford.
So, is this one of the you guys have?
This is an amp in a box.
This is an amp in a box.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So this is an amp in a box that you can load impulse responses into as well. But it has them in it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're cool. Not for $400 cool, I don't think. No. But yeah, I still would go with either the Hx Stomp or the simplifier over this. Probably.
The simplifier I like because it's analog, and so gain stuff in front of it. Mm-hmm. It just works. And then also, I like the form factor. I like having the headphone out.
Yes.
And I like having stereo XLR outs right out of the pedal. So if you do want to gig with it, you don't have to use a DI box and everything else.
Yeah, though that said, I still don't like the Marshall sound in the simplifier.
Yeah. I like the Fender sound.
Yes, it's the Fender and the Vox.
The Vox is good. The Marshall, it's good if you have it cranked most of the way and you push it with something.
Okay.
Then it's pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't.
I like the Fender sound best in it. But.
I use the Vox sound most. So yeah, both are good. It's
All right, moving on.
Walrus Walrus R1.
I have not played that. That's the reverb, I think.
It is. It's their fancy reverb. And I'll pull all these up if you're on the YouTube, I will.
Yeah. You'll get to see the pretty pictures.
Pretty pictures.
Yep. Long story short, programmable reverb pedal.
I like the colors.
Yeah, it looks good.
It looks like you got a color palette to choose from.
I do like having them color coded.
Yeah.
Spring Hall plate BFR.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is. And then RFR CT and my immediate.
I don't know. I love plate. Anything with a plate reverb that sounds good.
Yeah, I don't usually use that much reverb, but it's either going to be plate or spring most of the time, unless I'm mixing and then it's Hall.
Wait, what's the purple one?
Refract?
Refract?
Oh, refract.
Refract.
Hey, there you go. RFR CT.
Does it tell you anywhere on this description with the B?
I assume one of them has to be like a halo kind of reverb, right? With all those things in there.
Oh,
that's what I thought too. I'm like, what do you mean?
No, octave reverb.
Oh. BFR is no holds barred.
Big
reverb. Okay, that's
big
great.
Reverb.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more than a giant arena reverb. It's a Hall-esque reverb with a rich and lush decay in a vast cavern filled with choirs of angels.
Okay.
Yep.
I've never bought a pedal and had it include a cavern with that's full of angels. That's pretty cool.
We should definitely sample that.
I don't know how they fit that into
him
a box.
saying he's never bought a pedal.
Okay, so and then refract is like glitch reverb.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Sorry if y'all hear the dog barking in the background. He's upset. Okay, let's see. And then
makes me think it's like the start of a Jane's Addiction song.
Jesus. Nice.
Number 2, the EQD. I still can't say it. Hizumitas. Yes.
Hizumitas.
That sounds right. Yes.
I would like to buy one. That's the next pedal on my list, actually.
Has David gotten his yet? Do you know? Does he like
That's a good question. I don't know. Okay. I'll find out.
Yeah. So anyway, we talked about that already on this podcast, like I think a couple of weeks ago. That's the EQD fuzz pedal. I don't have any further commentary on that. And then the last Number 1, top 5 new. I didn't think this was this new. The EQD Astral Destiny.
Oh yeah,
And you
have that.
Yeah,
that has not left my board since I got it.
When did it come out?
Yeah,
I think it was early. I think it was early this year. That's why.
It must have been because that Atreides, as far as I remember, has been out for a while too.
I'm trying to remember when I got it because I got it I think like the day or 2 days after it came out.
Okay, gotcha.
I was, as soon as I saw it, I was like, I have to have this. It's trippy. It does all the weird things.
I guess I felt like I've seen it longer than that.
I swear they've had it for like longer than this year. Huh? That's funny.
It's a good one. It's so good.
Sounds great.
The sub octave, the sub shimmer sound is one of my favorites on it.
So what does that actually do?
So it is a weird caverny kind of reverb with modulation and octaves.
Okay.
And it's got it's got controls for like speed and depth, so you can actually control modulation too. So you can add like a chorusy kind of effect in there. It has a bunch of different presets, which is cool.
So basically a deluxe memory man on steroids. Effectively, yeah.
Kind of, except if the deluxe memory man had weird octaves in it that you could also manipulate while you play and bend.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Fair enough.
Because you can there's a I forget what the sweep is on it. I never look at it when I'm playing it, but
yeah, I understand.
The second button,
length,
the foot switch.
Foot switch.
It's not the activating one. The stretch. Yeah, the stretch feature on it is so cool because you can, when you tap it, it'll sweep from low octaves to high octaves. Or if you hold it down and like let it go, like it takes longer to sweep across them, so you can actually kind of manually bend and manipulate the time.
Hey, what's the price on this one?
$200. Same as probably.
I
always like reverbs and delays a lot. They're my favorite effects, but this is by far my favorite reverb ever.
With it's $50 then. To me,
$50
because I only focus on that first PayPal.
Yes, the pay it for.
All the other ones I don't pay attention to.
You know about
it's $50.
You know about Affirm on Reverb, right?
No.
Oh, we're gonna make Topher broke. All right.
No.
So Affirm is kind of like having a credit card, but you don't have a credit card. It just goes to your phone. Like they just text you, and then you pay on their app. But they can like break it down into like 12 months.
Oh.
Now, they do have kind of a high interest rate, but if you pay it off ahead of time, like so if like you make double payments, you don't have to worry about that.
Look there. They have one as low as
$165.
You can get it used as low as $165.
Yep. So, let's see.
Cuz like
you always pay attention over here on the left to see whether it says Affirm.
I mean, it's not a
I love my Matthews pedal, but that one there's no competition.
No, I've never seen anything that quite does what it does. But it's
as low as $15 a month.
You're trying to make Topher broke, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
I wish you would stop.
I will say I
have 4 children.
You can't use it in every song, right? Because it's like very you can tell what pedal it is, but it adds a lot of cool textures to stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's top fives. They have the lists are much longer, but yeah.
Of course.
Those are
the
cool.
Big ones.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Riff. So the
riff of the day. That's right.
Got to do the riffs.
Should start flipping a coin or something. Heads or tails?
Heads.
Tails. I go first.
Okay.
All right.
So this is our Christmas episode riff. So this is the Electric Wizard meets Christmas song. So this is you're getting Doom for Christmas.
Ooh.
The dope throne is real on this.
Hope you guys wanted fuzz for Christmas. It's a drop C.
It was a drop C.
It slaps, man.
Thank you.
It's very sludgy.
That was the idea.
Dude, like...
That was some
I
dirt.
feel like our good buddy David Wynn would love that one. He'd be proud of you.
I had him in mind when I was doing this.
He would be proud.
Oh man, we're gonna have to have him on because we keep referencing him. We're gonna have to have him on the show at some point.
That's like the bottom. That's the bottom of the coffee pot after it's been left on the burner.
Oh yeah.
Oh, get that thick sludge.
I was proud of this one. All right, moving on to Adams.
I don't know if I can top that.
I dig that a lot.
Yeah, I was saying, dude.
That was cool. Yeah, anytime you had those octaves and stuff, I'm all about it.
It was a little weird trying to move it into a minor key because what pitch to end it on. But
yeah. No, that was cool. Yeah, anytime like those upper harmonies, like that kind of like it's not Iron Maiden, but it's kind of like they're that style of stuff.
Yeah,
like
for
I
sure.
love that. Love it.
I have to pick.
You do have to pick.
Dude, I loved them both.
I would concede a tie this week.
I think we have to. I think we have. You guys did both. Just
so I think for next year we should put out a like
call for these.
I think we should record an album.
Oh my god! Yes,
we're getting brutal for Christmas.
I retract my tie. I'm gonna give it to you.
That's fair. You know what?
It was an original riff.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Sorta.
Well,
I mean, I just moved it into a minor key.
Because that was shit. What's the name of it?
It was a little drummer boy.
Yeah.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's because I had moved to minor, so like the end of the end of each of those melodies, it was really like if I ended on the note it would just weird. So
I was thinking it was good King Wenceslas is what I was thinking it was. Yeah.
It was original enough that I couldn't quite pick it out. I could pick yours out, which there's nothing wrong with it. It's fine. It's
I'll
fine.
That's this one. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. That like. Yeah. If I'm gonna lose the one, that was a damn good one to lose to. All right. And then we'll do the other ones later.
That was a Boss Metal Zone.
Was it really? Nice. Oh, I'm always
on the grindy like part.
Mine was a Logic preset. It was a fuzz and vibe. Is what it was. Yeah.
I think the modulation on mine was actually a plug-in, but everything else was pedals.
I usually forget about these until last minute, so I never set up the pedal board. Yeah. Which I should, but like you do. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Well, then let's move on. We'll jump into our topic. We're going to be interviewing Mike Conley on talking about some holiday shows and running open mics.
Mm-hmm. Hey guys, we're here with Mike Conley. He organizes and does the C2G Christmas each year, which has just happened.
Yeah. It was a great show.
It was a great show. Kila.
It was fantastic. So we're gonna ask him some questions about it.
Fire away, man. Fire away. I'm ready.
So Mike, tell us how did you get started doing this Christmas show?
Well, I guess I'd go way back. As far as I'm gonna answer this a little differently. How did I get started doing Christmas? Period. was 92.3 The Fort. Okay, you remember that radio station? Elvis and Hammer was on that, and they were doing this Home for the Holidays promotion where basically local bands came up with Christmas music, submitted it to the station, and they'd review it, and maybe you'd get a little airplay. Well, we did a version of Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, which is, it's a completely different song because it's more, I'm like, I can't do a sad bastard version for a classic rock station. I got to do a rock song. So we totally changed the song. It got a tremendous amount of airplay. The following year, they did the same thing, and then we recorded Little Drummer Boy. So then I'm looking at my guys that I recorded this with. I'm like, you know what? We're 2 songs into a Christmas album. Let's do a Christmas album. So then you do a Christmas album, and then what happens then is you're kind of like the person that you're the Christmas. I'm like the Christmas guy all of a sudden, or Christmas girl, and people ask you to do Christmas stuff. We do a Christmas show at Mad Anthony's Brewery. We do a C2G show and Christmas on the Farm. So all of a sudden, you know, if you have a Christmas album, Christmas material, they ask you to do that. So that's how, in a roundabout way, I guess, the C2G Christmas show came about.
So started doing a few Christmas things, and then you became Mr.
Yeah,
Christmas.
all of a sudden I started wearing a Christmas hat, and everybody.
Gotcha. I feel like I should give this to you.
You wear it well.
Thank you.
You do.
So I guess that sort of answers the second question. But how long have you been doing the show at C2G?
You know, I always ask Mark, which one is this one, Mark? I don't know. It's probably 7 or 8. I'd say maybe 8. So it's pushing 10 years. Because the Christmas album's 11 years old now. And so it was shortly after that we started doing the Christmas show.
Okay. Right on.
Is Mark at C2G, or is he?
Yeah, Pastor Mark. Yeah, Mark Minnick. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Are there? Do you have any challenges as far as like putting these things together each time, or is it similar to doing other?
It's
gigs?
the diva musicians that you have to deal with. I'm just kidding.
Hi guys.
We all know one of those.
No, honestly, knock on wood, it always goes really pretty smooth. The sound guy is a true professional, and we do a sound check during the day. So every band he has dialed in, ready to go. So we don't have this. That's what really kind of kills a show, is the in-between acts that just take forever to get this set up, and he's go. And so knock on wood, so far so good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that always makes the holidays a little nicer.
Yes.
Do you start early on, like in the year, coordinating the stuff? Is it like, are you doing Christmas in July, or is it?
Dude, we're musicians. We all wait till the last minute.
Okay. Yep. That's fair.
I mean, we get on it a little bit early. Some years we've gotten on it a lot sooner than others. Truth be told, but all in all, it seems to work out.
Cool. So, do you have like a favorite Christmas song to perform?
I don't know. I love Christmas Time Is Here, which is the Charlie Brown song. I really love singing that a lot. I love Little Drummer Boy. I felt like our Christmas album, I felt like we nailed that song. You know, like when you record a song or you play a song out and you think to yourself, we just nailed that. There are times when you think, we really sucked. But there are times, you're like, all right, that was a pretty special one. And it's like a 1 in 1,000 to have that feeling. And I felt like Little Drummer Boy, we really nailed that one. This is a debatable Christmas song, but we put My Favorite Things, Raindrops, and that's kind of like Die Hard. Is it a Christmas movie or not?
Yeah. Fair enough.
I love the song. That might be like my all-time favorite song. My Favorite Things. So I thought about getting a tattoo with like a line of sheet music with wrapping around my arm. I think I'm gonna do that.
That's pretty cool.
I think I'm gonna do that.
I
That's probably my all-time favorite song. Is My Favorite Things.
I was thinking of John Coltrane whenever I hear that one.
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what's great about Christmas music, though. It's timeless.
Yes.
Some of them timeless, like and maybe not the best way because you're so sick of it. But other ones, you're like, that's been around for decades and decades for a reason, and that reason is it's a great song.
Well, since he mentioned it, do you have any that you absolutely just like hate to hear nowadays?
I hate to say this, but what's the McCartney one that?
Oh yeah.
Simply having a wonderful that one I cringe. And I love the Beatles, but that one is probably the most cringe. That one gets me.
That's fair. I've heard that from a few people.
That's what was that Wings era.
That was the Wings era.
Yep.
That was the Wings era. So.
Okay, yeah. So since we got you here, I know you've been hosting the open mic at Mad Anthony's for it feels like eternity.
About 150 years now, ballpark.
I mean, I remember coming to open mic and playing before I
had before he had facial hair. Actually,
I don't know if I could shave yet. No, I'm just kidding.
You might not have been able to. Yeah, it's been a long time. It's shocking they haven't fired me yet.
No, it's awesome.
For real, was it Munchies back then still, or was it?
Yeah, I've been hosting it. Honest to God, I've been hosting that thing for close to 20 years.
Okay,
ain't that insane?
That is pretty awesome.
Every Thursday I'm there. But you know what's cool about open mic? Like right here. You know, I met you at open mic night in Topher. Well, I met you in your living room today, Chris.
Yeah.
But
kind of like open mic.
But it's a melting pot, and I've seen so many, like Will Surt and a lot of different people, the Brown Bottle Band back in the day, all these acts, you guys, Topher, I feel like you guys, was kind of a launching pad, for a lot of, including me, and I mean, that's how I started playing out, was I hit all the open mics, the old Toast and Jam. So you were around for that.
That was one of my favorite places.
I'm really proud of my open mic. Toast and Jam, though, it's
hard to be at an old house,
Yeah, especially an old haunted house. I heard that house is haunted too.
Huh.
Yeah.
I want to go back.
Yeah. But that room, they never mic'd the guitar. It was because the room was so perfect acoustically.
Oh.
And the reason why it was so perfect acoustically is because it had it was octagon shaped. The corners, instead of being square, were so it was just the perfect room. It was wood, and it just had a vibe to it. And so once again, you go back to like the Dwayne Ebees and all these great human beings that you meet at these places. And I think open mics in general are so critical to like a close-knit musical community. I think. Sure. That's my opinion.
Gives people a stepping stone. It's like when you feel comfortable, like even if you don't play a lot, you get a few songs together. And
we've kind of been talking about, like on our earlier stuff, like a lot of the sections like we've discussed are how musicians go from like make the next step and what they do, and like our whole first episode was basically the importance of like open mic nights. Like it's a big deal. So.
Yeah, because you learn a lot of things, like even just mic technique. I mean, you gotta dial that mic in a certain way. If you're gonna yell, you gotta back off. If you're going to do falsetto, you got to get on the mic. So you got to be real careful about even just mic technique, So you can learn a lot of those little subtleties at open mic night. I learned that early on. I definitely was not as good as I thought I was. But you just keep doing it, and you encourage people, and I almost feel like the dad that's watching his kid grow and excel, and you know what I mean? These people that come out. So, but. Anyway, so I appreciate you asking about open mic night. It's a pretty special thing for sure.
Do you have any, like, as far as doing open mic for so many years, do you have any like really interesting stories, like a night just where you're like, wow, this was weird?
Oh my God. Where do I start? I had, can I talk about, do they cuss?
Yeah, you're good. Well, if it gets too crazy.
It's really weird, man. Well, one of them, this guy came out with this puppet or whatever, he's like, and he was talking, and the crowd was just not digging it at all. And all of a sudden, you could tell he's getting really pissed, because nobody's enjoying the act at all. Was it a ventriloquist? What is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's up there with this, and finally it got to the point where he's like, well, maybe I should just wait out in the parking lot under somebody else's car and jump them when they come. Jesus Christ! Wow, man, it kind of blew me away. And so that was really uncomfortable. I had some comedians that would come up from Muncie, actually. And they were assholes, actually. You know, they were jerks. And I try to be, you know, I still treat everybody really good. But the one guy got up there, and it was the same deal where he bombed. And, of course, after I'm done, I grabbed the microphone, you know, when he's done and he's walking off, and I go, hey, just to let everybody know, he was a comedian. Wow. So they never came back. They never
that was the best
came
bit,
back.
right?
Yeah. I remember a guy that used to have for a while that was, you would give him a word.
Give me a word.
Yeah. Oh my.
And then he'd rap, and that was one of those where that was also a little uncomfortable at times. So I always made sure to stay on the stage, so I could interject with him.
I remember you kind of playing with him for a while.
I did. I felt like that would ease some of the tension in the audience. Yeah. So that's the reason why I did that, was just to kind of, you know, mess with him in a non-threatening way, you know. But you kind of learn those things over the years. So, the other one was this William dude. This is like right when I first started doing open mic night. And keep in mind, this is Munchies, and there's families there. And I don't know if you remember, this is an older skit. Remember Pat on Saturday Night Live? Mm-hmm. Pat, the character, you couldn't tell whether Pat was a man or a woman. Yeah. And it kind of a quirky. He looked like Pat, you know, and he's up there, and he's a spoken word guy. And he's like, and as he approached the computer monitor, he looks over at the anal lubrication. And I'm like, I go, William, we're done. We're done. Wow. They might edit that part. But anyway, yeah, I'm like, that was one of the few times I jumped up on stage and I said, we're done.
I think that phrase should just be the trailer for this episode.
Yeah. Now, and then, of course, afterwards, you know, he's sitting there, and I go talk to him and said, hey, you know, this is a family restaurant. You're doing a good job, but the content is, you know. And I think he did come back one other time, and it was a little less, you know, horrific.
Did it seem like it clicked to him, though, that like, oh.
Wow, I just was like, oh my God. And like I said, I was pretty green at hosting up. I'm like, this is what we're going to have here.
So maybe that's why you're the host for so many years, because you can handle these situations.
Well, it's incredibly entertaining. And I've even said to the point where it's therapeutic. And I think people who go out and hang out and play a little, it is therapeutic. So even some of the acts that might not be the most polished, they're pouring their heart and soul out there for you. And that's a beautiful thing, you know? So anyway, I hope I didn't get too winded there on some of the more interesting stories.
It was everything I hoped for and more. That's why people tune in.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's your favorite type of Christmas cookie?
I'm trying to think. You know, I don't know. That's a tough one. I kind of like the traditional ones. What are the ones that are like the vanilla ones with like the frosting cutouts on it? Yeah, the cutout ones. Yeah. I like those as well as anything. I think the most critical thing for me is you have to either have a cup of coffee or for sure a glass of milk. Okay. Whatever cookie it is. Yeah. That's probably the key ingredient to eating anything sweet is milk. Yeah. In my book. Yeah. So, but probably to answer your question, the more traditional, is that like, would that be like a sugar cookie?
I think it's a type of sugar cookie.
Yeah, with the cutout. Yeah.
Right on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, old school.
I was waiting for you to go, yeah, we celebrate Hanukkah at my house. We don't do anything.
I just eat meat. I don't eat cookies.
With your coffee.
With my coffee.
I just take steak and cookie cutter with a...
Yeah, we're not having cookies this year, honey. These are called hamburgers. I know the frosting's a little awkward, but...
It's a nice gingerbread flavor.
Yeah, cut out hamburgers. That'd be great. Oh, my gosh. Oh, that's funny.
Is there anything else like you want to specifically about the Christmas show? Anything else like you want people to know going forward? I'm guessing you're planning on doing it next year.
I'll probably do it every year. And the other thing about like Christmas music, sometimes people, once again, they'll maybe cringe because it's been over commercialized. But as performers, we play 12 months out of the year. And a lot of times, let's face it, we play a lot of that same material, and it's a fine line, because as a performer, you're like, maybe sometimes you get a little bored of that same song, but there's an anticipation from the audience where they're like, well, I want to hear that song, even though you're bored with it. So, but you want to keep things fresh, and a really good way to keep things fresh is, hey, once December gets here, you can learn 10 or 15 or whatever Christmas songs. And that kind of spices your act up a little bit. And, you know, you don't want to play a whole night necessarily, as far as, except for at the C to G Christmas show. Then you do, because people expect all. But I'm saying, if you know, Sullivan's, you got to kind of mix it up. And so why not throw in a few fun Christmas songs? And they're pretty easy to learn. It's funny, though, because if you have to play an hour set with the Christmas music, that's probably 57 Christmas songs, because they're so short.
They go quick.
Some
They're
duplicates
so
in there probably.
Yeah, what's that?
There's probably. Do you guys see like where like bands will do, every band does the same song at some point? Does that happen?
No,
quite a bit? Really?
no.
Really?
Actually,
Okay.
you know, Topher for the C to G show sent me a Christmas list. There's no duplication, none. But even if there is, if you're doing a show like with our show, one of the acts is a jazz act.
Oh yeah.
One of the acts is an acoustic duo. Rich Lysick and Jeff McRae are doing that, and and then one act's a jazz act. So they're all completely different genres of music. So even if you do the same song, they're going to be completely different.
Fair enough.
So that's why I'm kind of careful about, you know, who we have.
That makes sense.
Understand?
Yeah.
A little something for everybody.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's like I said, it's a good opportunity to spice things up and throw in a couple, you know, goofy Christmas songs for your audience.
Have you had any real weird genres in there, like I like, you know, thrash metal Christmas type of stuff?
We've had so many different acts over the years. I mean, we've had like Unlikely Alibi, they've played, you know, those guys, and the Freak Brothers, and we had Poppin' Fresh, which those, you know, everybody loves Poppin' Fresh, and some people were shocked because, you know, the girls are up there and they're just dancing. I was like, this is great. We've had Francie Zuko. You know, Francie's been around forever, long time jazz singer in Fort Wayne. And but we just try to really keep it a great variety. One of the acts is Smooth Edge 2 for this year's show. They love them. They're kind of there's an a cappella group. Oh, wow. There's like 7 or 8 of them, kind of like Straight No Chaser.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's Fort Wayne has such a wonderfully diverse musician pool. I mean, there's so many great bands, and that you can go back to open mic night and go, holy crap, this is in Fort Wayne, Indiana. This is great stuff. And I don't know. It's exciting. We're kind of an anomaly, really, compared to some of these other big cities, because so many people, they'll come into open mic, they'll be like from Cincinnati or different parts of the country, and like, wow, I cannot believe this is here.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of, you know, you can think a lot of venues out there that'll support live music. I mean, we've lost a lot of them on, you know, the Columbia streets and different places that don't do entertainment. But relatively speaking, I think Fort Wayne has a really good support system as far as venues.
Yeah,
hiring
I mean,
bands.
new ones are popping up constantly.
Yeah,
Like,
every time something goes out, something else comes up to replace it.
right.
It seems
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like traditional and non-traditional type venues. You know, all kinds of places in town that are bars or a coffee place or a brewery or whatever.
somebody's garage.
Yeah.
Somebody's garage, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a great thing. It's a great outlet to have. I mean, you guys know that. You're all musicians. To be able to, you can have a rough day or a rough week, and you always have your music to turn. Your music will never turn its back on you. It's always there for you. And I feel very blessed. Not everybody has that in their life. So I think we're all pretty blessed to have that.
Yeah.
I think that's a good note
Great.
to.
That's
That's
perfect.
perfect.
Yeah, to
Yeah, wrap up on. Yeah, cool.
All right, hey everybody, we were just speaking with Mike Conley, and just want to thank him for being here with us today.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, and have a Merry Christmas, Mike.
You too, brother.
So at the end of this week's episode, we're going to hear some Mike Conley tunes at the end. So I hope you guys enjoy. Stick around for that. And thanks for joining us on Woodwire and Watts. Until next time, tune up, crank the volume,
And let her rip.
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things. Cream-colored ponies and crisp apple strudels, doorbells and sleigh bells and schnitzel wing noodles, wild geese that fly with the moon on their wings. These are a few of my favorite things. Girls in white dresses with blue satin sashes, snowflakes that stay on my nose and eyelashes, silver white winters that melt into springs. These are a few of my favorite things. When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad. Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm wood